So this is probably my only proper vintage drum kit, and it's my 1964 Slingerland Super Gene Krupa set, or at least that was what it was called when I bought it. And it's in Oyster Pink Pearl, which is a little bit more of a rare finish. It's the Ringo finish in pink, if you've never seen it up close. But it was a finish that Slingerland, I think, only offered for about 6 or 7 years in the sort of late 50s to early 60s, whereas Ludwig only offered it for 1 year, which I think was 1959. I've had this kit for about 15 years. Probably about 10 years ago, I took it up to Birmingham, one of the drum shows that was up in Birmingham, for a photo shoot, one of many that was done on the day, but it was featured in Rhythm magazine. I forget which issue it was, but it was about 10 years ago, and it was a big haul, and I had this kit all set up ready to go, and it was over in a corner, and I was sort of walking around the room keeping an eye on it, and I saw this fella sort of looking at it and standing over it and sort of almost inspecting it, and I went over and had a chat with him, and it turned out he actually had one as well, and he thought somehow his kit had got there, and was a little bit bemused as to what he thought his kit was doing there. So there is at least one other kit in this finish in this country. I've seen a couple in the States as well, and in fact the sort of the downbeat sizes as well. But this is a 13x9, 16/16, 22/16, and it's got a matching snare drum as well, which is there you go. But it's this was apparently not original to the kit. This is a Slingerland artist snare drum, of which I've previously done a video on. 1-ply shell. This has got, I think it's 10-strand Ludwig wires on it, which is sort of quite a dry sound. Internal muffler as well. In fact, the toms have got internal mufflers as well. They're all Niles badges. I think these are brass hoops. You've got the consulate plate there. And the consulate itself, as you'll see in a little bit more detail in a minute, it's actually a Ludwig consulate. This was the one it came with. It's there's no holes in it, so I obviously doubt it was original to the drum kit itself, but someone at some point has changed it out and not re-drilled it, thankfully. But overall, I think the drums are in fairly sort of decent condition, given that they're 53 years old. I've not really played it too much, but particularly now because it's not really anything that sort of works for what I do at the moment. But I hope to be an old fellow one day, doing gigs, doing blues gigs or something in a dirty old pub somewhere, and I think I'll take it out for that. But I've not really done anything to it. The only thing I've done really to it is put a rims floor mount on the floor tom. That was for two reasons. One, so it was a little bit more practical to actually play the thing, and secondly because the original the original floor tom legs, which I have somewhere, are basically straight poles and nothing else, nothing more or less than that. And I seem to have lost one of the screws to put them back into the legs, even if I wanted to use it now. So I've got a feeling that's probably on the floor at my folks' house somewhere, so in my old room. But it's also got a splash or a cymbal arm attachment there. I don't have an original Slingerland one, but I do have a couple of bass drum mounted cymbal arms, but they're locked away somewhere over in the other room. But all in all, you have to excuse the way that the kit is tuned. Basically at the moment this is set up to do a head review, which I haven't done yet. I've got Diplomat fibre skins on the two toms. They're tuned up quite high, although it might not sort of sound like that at the moment. But and the bass drum is wide open, but it's got a fibre skin felt tone on the batter head and a hazy white on the front, which is also felt tone. So it's sort of it's got nothing in it and it's tuned up. So and the snare drum's tuned up as well. As I said, it's been basically, I've got this out and set it up to do a head review, which I haven't done yet. So that's why it's and I've got hazies or clears on the bottom. There you go. Clears on the bottom of the toms and a sort of a hazy on the bottom of the snare. So all fairly sort of standard, sort of I suppose jazzy type heads and stuff. But as I said, I've not done the review yet, so that's why it is tuned the way it is tuned. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look at my only proper vintage kit. This is what it looks like in a bit more detail. This is what it sounds like tuned as it is. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.